Hello and welcome to this continuing live code series. We're creating a website from scratch with Python, Django, and the Wagtail CMS. Today we're going to be working in the Western Friend Media Library, sort of picking up where we left off, but maybe taking one step forward to see if one step back to see if we can take a cleaner step forward. We were changing the way library items are categorized last session and ran into some difficulties with migrations, basically field conflicts, which was very strange. Had to make a small compromise in order to get things working out, which is okay. Things are going. At this stage, the pull request is pretty much ready to roll, but I do want to try cleaning up the commit history and trying not to squash these migrations just right away. It's quite a large pull request, and we have a couple of other people who are maybe have forked the repository, might be working on it locally, so they could already have data they're working with, so I need to keep a clean migration history right now. Instead of just deleting all the previous migrations, I'll squash them at a different time, or we might just have to go with this pull request in progress. But today what I'm going to do is just create a fresh branch from master and basically copy and paste the code that is working. Give us all these migrations. So this pull request is a lot easier to review, for one. So essentially we created a new app called Facets. That gives the faceted categorization of library items that can be actually applied to different collections. So let's start there. Let's create a branch. Master. So we've got this thing running locally, and I do have a home page configured. That's about it, though. There's no other pages underneath the home page. So it's a blank site. One of the things I need to do soon is create with the new structure I've been working on over the past couple of months, create some fixtures so that we can just spin up the site real quick. Now that the structure of the data model is basically stabilizing, that will particularly be useful. Every once in a while I have to reset the database, and we have a couple, like I said, new developers who might want to help us out here. So let's go ahead and create this Facets app. Manage Pi. What's going on here? Come on, there we go. Plural. The app names should be plural by convention. And this direct. Okay, I see. Checked out the code from master. The facets shouldn't be there. Let me double check this. I think I just delete this folder, but because it won't clean up folders apparently, and things that aren't under Git revision control. Okay, so we're good to go. I can just delete facets. Like Git is not aware of the environment, for example, or the database. So let's create the Facets tab. Now we'll go to Fresh App. And right off the bat, I know I'm not going to be using views or admin. So we'll go ahead and delete those. Come over here and just commit that. So this was part of the scaffold. So migration will be generating soon. It's a migration. Here's the models. This is the meat of the project. Basically, we want to be able to categorize library items based on what medium it is, the time period it was published, the genre. So let's go ahead and put these into Facets models. And have to add the Facets app. It's an easy thing to forget. Go to our settings, base, new app. Make these migrations. Oh. It looks like I got a copy and paste error here. The whole thing's been, save it. Black should handle that for me. That's funny. What did it copy? Anyway. Let's go to dedent it once. Will that one work? Shift tab. Ooh, that didn't work at all. Damn. Control Shift. Control Shift I for format document. Oof, that's not going to help either. Why is this pasting in like that? So we can just view file. I need to get a clean copy and paste. You know, I mean, this code is already written, so I have a pretty clear understanding of what it's doing. I worked through it. It took like 3 hours to get everything worked out. There we go. It's something different. Huh. I haven't even touched those yet. Yeah, here's what I'm gonna do. This is the exact errors I was troubleshooting last time, literally for like, well, at least an hour. These kind of phantom fields that are hanging around. I'm not even touching this right now. Somehow a Wagtail core page has got these library item fields that are colliding because library item is inheriting from Wagtail core page. Something to do with caching. I don't know. This is very mysterious. So I'm gonna clean branch from master. I deleted the database, ran the initial migrations, so I should be almost clean, total clean slate here, but still having some difficulties. So what I'm gonna do, close this folder, and I'm not too worried about losing that branch. I'm just gonna delete it. Because all my commits have been pushed to GitHub. Again. No cache, nothing. One moment. All right, now we can open the folder. definition of environment. So I tried to do this stuff off stream, the setting up the environment, all that. But anyway. Okay, wait for a second for those. Have some tea. So this is total clean branch again. We're going to create a new branch. We will just call it Facets. And they're the same commit. All right, good. See if there's something that's picking up, or if I get an error off the bat. So yeah, no changes. That's as expected because I just cloned it, but did not know. I just wanted to be on the safe side. So start the app again. Come back over here. Facets models. Again. I wonder if there's a way to tell Django to flush out the pi cache or something. Maybe that would save me some time and hassle. Alright, let's try this again. Whoops, wrong one. Yeah. I don't understand this. So, we'll just have to let bygones be bygones. I'm not even working in this app, library app, over here. Haven't touched it, just fresh cloned everything. What's the stream marker? I'm gonna maybe try to snip this and put it in the bug report. I opened the bug report last time, 14 minutes in. Yeah, this is ludicrous. Alright, well, let's continue the if I look at that just really briefly, this library item model, we had moved from these having these hard coded into the model. choices here. Sorry, I was thinking for a moment, but these fields, I'm not touching them yet, but they're saying they're colliding when I try to make migrations on a fresh cloned website. Which is why I ended up basically resorting to just squashing them, resetting, removing, squashing like 3 times, and eventually just named them so they wouldn't collide here. This is really frustrating. Alright, cool then. Anyway, last time I made it past it, so I thought I would take a step back and see if I could not have such a sloppy kind of commit history. Alright, let's see if there's another issue we can work on today then. Probably a low-hanging fruit like this one. Alright, essentially what we've got here, I'll have to build up a little bit of initial content. But let's go ahead and create a branch, pull in changes from master. So on the contact page, we're going to want to display library items. Make sure my migrations are up. I think I already created this super user. Let me double check. Okay, but create some quick content. Delete the default wagtail page. Add a home page. set the site back up because it deletes the default site when you do that. When you delete the default wagtail page, set the home. Create a new issue real quick while this is on my mind. This is relatively low-hanging fruit. I'll label it enhancement, good first issue, help wanted, and it's relating to the home page, it looks like. Okay, we can come back to that one later. So we're gonna just try to get these library items on the author page. So I'm gonna build up a little bit more content. Community page. So all the authors are part of the community. Then underneath the community we can have people, organizations, meetings, online worship groups, and community directories. This is an index page, so it's like a listing of people. May or may not be user-facing. In fact, if I view it live, boom, it doesn't have a template. I have to consider whether to add it, but I'll create an issue for that. Whoops, where was it? Create. There we go. Just getting this backlog filled in so we can prioritize these items. Maybe we can split them out to other developers. Okay, cool. So that was demonstrated. I can now add a child page. I'll add myself. So I will have a profile page right here. There's nothing on it. There's no other related content, and the only field we have on a person are those first name and family name, given name and family name. All right, cool. So step one is done. We can see now the content hierarchy is sort of filling in. Now, and one thing I left off was with the media library item, we have to organize it. We have to categorize the content. So I'll have to add those. So under welcome, under the home page, we need a library item index. We got some intro text. So the idea is that all of the user-facing texts should be editable in the user interface. So this is essentially the link here. When we're at the front page, we go to library, we see this, these editable texts, and then a listing of media items. Underneath the library, we can have library items. But we also need some facets. And those facets are what we categorize the library items and possibly other content types by. There are 5 facets right now: audience, genre, medium, time period, and topic. We have to create index pages for each of them, so this is redundant, but it's in order to enforce the content hierarchy. This is what I want to scaffold out with the fixtures. Genres. Just haven't gotten to it. This is a brand new feature. Media. I don't know. Mediums. Time periods. I think we're actually doing these singular. So I need to edit the genre. Let me double check the genre now. The slug didn't get modified. Publish. Last one is topic. Alright, so now we have some more or less like manila folders that we can keep the organization, the content organization in place. Add a topic. What do we have? This is where I should refer. Content structure. Taxonomy. Topic. I guess if I just click this one, it'll list the terms. Yeah, simplicity. That was the theme. Last session. Didn't quite reach the most simple solution, but made it through, powered through. And then I'm gonna put a couple topics, and I'm not gonna fill in all of these. The reason we need a couple topics is to test a feature, which I actually already know works, where you can assign multiple topics to a library item. We'll add a child page for genre. Come back over here, taxonomy, genre, list items. Just grab the first one there. Same thing here. Facets. And I remember this one, timeless. Facets, time period, medium. Well, this one's pretty easy. Also, like audio was one. Or audio production. Facets, audience, and this one's relatively straightforward. Intergenerational is a good one. All right, so we got some dummy sort of scaffolding in place for the facets. Let's go ahead and check if we can add in a library item now. We had to have, you have to have one author. So there's the author, and one for each of these facets. And the topics are multi-choice, so we'll just add one though. Publication date. Test. Everything else you have to add something in the body. We can publish this now. Alright, so now we have a library item. Great. Alright, so the content is scaffolded. Content is set up. Now what we're going to do is look at this author page and put some code in something like this. That'll list the related library items. This might actually just directly work, but I don't think it will. I think it's going to need a little bit of fidgeting. So let's look at our contact template. I'll just put it right here at the top for just a second. I'll come back to it. Place it in a better place. Position. So now we have something in the library item that's authored by me. And we see that this library item's listed here. The first thing I want to do is see if it's iterating over it. Because it could be that this syntax is wrong, so let's just put a paragraph text in here. And if we see a couple of tests, then we'll know we're looping over the right item, so that's not happening. Related library items. So let's take a look at the model. Yeah, the library item model. Has a library item. What am I thinking here? Sorry. Author, yeah. Which is this, yep. This is an intermediary table. So from any author, we will have this reverse relationship. Okay. There it is. Okay. That wasn't too bad. So yeah, there it is. It actually just works. What we're doing here, just for what it's worth, we have a page item here that's an author page. And there are specific, since it's inheriting from the page model, I'll just show you, this is a different model. We're looking at contact, her person here, but you inherit from the page model. So when you add specific properties to a class that inherits from page, you just have to access them by saying specific rather than the page model itself. Then when we looked at this library item author intermediary table, what this has got, it's a parental key to the library item itself and a foreign key to the author. So it's joining them, it's a many-to-many. And on these foreign keys and parental keys, you define the name, the traversing name from the related document. So from the author, we can access these documents by library items authored, and grabs me that. And then from this thing, I can get to the library item. And so if we look at the template, that's what I'm doing here, basically. From the item, I'm grabbing the library item, and here I'm displaying just this stringified version of the page model, which is showing us the title. And here we're passing in this page item to a wagtail helper called page URL. Now let me just see. We definitely want the description to come first. Oops. Authors, articles should probably come second. Then maybe library items. And I should enclose it in an if like that. That's a good one. So let's see. Actually, if I grab everything here. What was it? So if there is a query set, if it's zero or more than 0 items, we'll display the header and loop over all the item. Library items authored, so I need to actually do this. So this should still work the same. Alright. Whoops. Alright, so what did we change here? Well, yeah, it's more or less lint, but I like it. Alright. So this is issue number 98. So that's nice compact. PR, library models. Trying to enable this lint on save so I don't have to keep coming back and doing these. Oh, I think it's under extensions. By the way, does this work in other languages in JavaScript? This code metrics is pretty nice. There it is, format on save. If I save now, did it catch these trailing white spaces? What did it change? $28, $19, and $34. Let's see if Pep8 picks that up. Pep8 speaks. Grab a little bit of tea while we wait. There, it did it. Yeah, for the where possible, that linting should be automated. And I think it's good that we have projects like Black in Python and Prettier in JavaScript that just let us put aside these, quibbling about certain lint rules, single quotes, double quotes, things like that. Just kind of get past that and get on with our coding. We'll rebase and merge that. Now there's a couple of paths here we can take. Like I said, we're trying to keep these issues open so we can track them. One thing I would like to do is get a sidebar menu for facets. So yeah, let's see if I already, while I'm here, just pull these changes from master. Check issues, create an issue for facets. Whoops. And there's more work to be done on this because now that the facets are in place, we have to actually start doing the search. So I want to do a little bit more enhancement on the user experience for managing facets, and then we'll get into the searching. But this we actually just closed, so I'll sign myself so I can keep track of it. Kind of a good first issue, but anyway, I'm managing these issues. So basically what we're going to do is Wagtail admin gives you the ability to define your own custom menus. So you can see a couple examples here. We've got these flyout menus. When you click a sublink, it's basically a model that's been registered, similar to the way you register models with Django admin. The main difference is Django admin is not for end users. It's really nice, but that's, I think, a big limitation, that they have such a nice sort of admin dashboard, but only have so few people who can use it. So Wagtail did, I think, the right thing, and they say this Wagtail admin is for content managers, so it's like WordPress for Django. So yeah, what we're going to do here is just add another Facets menu, and maybe the settings can have flyout menus. I think that might be a good experiment later. And we're going to register the 5 facet types underneath the Facets menu, so we'll have 5 sublinks. So this is mainly going to be a copy and paste thing, because I've got a couple of examples how to do this already. So we should be able to speed through this. I'll create it from master. I'm working on it, so I'll put myself there. Alright, so let's take a look at an example. For example, the contacts. The way you define these is in a file called Wagtail hooks. And essentially, you import the models that you're going to be adding to the menu, either top level or as a sub flyout, and you add model admins for each of those. If you just wanted a top level menu, then that's all you'd have to do is register a top level model admin using this model admin register. In the case of having a sub menu, you actually create a model admin group. So this is the model admin group, and these are model admins. And here we're registering just the group. So we're going to basically copy and paste this whole file. And we don't need all of it, because this is you can also hook into the rendering of the editing, Wagtail editing. In this case we're editing a contact, and I needed to put some JavaScript in there, so that's not necessary, but this is all good right here. Contact. So we're going to go over here to Facets. By convention, we will just call it Wagtail hooks. And paste all that in there. Now, from this models, we got to import the right models. So from here, models, or I could say from facets.models. I don't know what's more appropriate or more common. Import, we have 3, let's see, well, let's just load it up. Facets models. And I'll do it alphabetically. We want audience. There's 5 of these, so let's do a tuple. Oops, didn't need to do that. Genre, medium, time period, and topic. So same here. We're just going to go through here and now this is letting you define the little bit of the aesthetic here. So it's mostly a declarative way of configuring your menus. Not a lot of procedural or imperative code here. So we actually want to use, I think, audiences. Good. We'll pick the models. We'll fiddle with that in a minute, but I just want to get the basic stuff down. And this is giving you a declarative way to define like searching and things like that. Let me just show you. This is actually really cool. I don't have a meeting index page. Okay, darn it. But I mean, it's really replicating what the Django admin does, where you have like search field, you have filter sidebar where you can click and drill down by categories and stuff like that, or time periods. It's pretty nice. So we import our audience. It's right there. What's this squiggling me for? Alright, let's continue. Yeah, and sometimes you got to be careful. If you have just a tuple with one item, you don't leave a trailing comma. You can get some funny stuff occurring if that property needs a tuple. Apparently, search fields can just have a string or a tuple. Alright, so genre. All we have on any of these is the title field, so some of this is redundant. Might not even need this list display, or the ordering. I think by default might order by created or update date. I don't know. So again, well, we don't have to keep switching back here. It's just right here. Medium. Whoops, wrong button there. And none of these should be empty, so I think I can delete those. And topic. And this is just hitting Control D to do the multi-cursor. Oh yeah, so, oops. Actually, this should be, not really paying attention closely. So this would actually be topic right here. Control D, topic. And this is going to be called Facets group, because it's the actual part that groups them together in the menu. Facets. And we have a diamond there. I don't know if that's probably not one of the icons, but alright, so now we just got to add the items. Audience, genre, medium, topic. Time period, topic. Media, time period, topic. Audience genre. Medium. Time period. Topic. So yeah, we tell our group to manage those. And again, we'll come back into these icons in a minute. I think this should be at like level 300, a little bit further down the menu. Now if we refresh, I believe it should be. For this one, I might have to actually restart the server, refresh the page. There we are, facets. There they go. Alright, so now we can tweak a little bit with icons. If we come to style guide, there's a few icons that come with Wagtail. Not a lot, not a big selection. I want to add a few more. I'm just not quite sure how to do that, but while I'm on it, let's see, add it's an enhancement. I think this is low-hanging fruit also. It's in the Wagtail docs even, so. In any case, let's go back up to the top here. We go to icons, see if there's a few icons. And 1 second, I'm gonna mute the microphone. Alright, my chair is kind of squeaky and I wanted to adjust real quick. So facets. Could be facets, could be a search. There's search facets. Alright, sounds good. Let's see if I refresh this. Facets. So audience, everything's got icons now. So let's just take a look. Audience of that genre would be like a book or something like that. It might just be that I do all of these the same icon. I don't know. If anyone in chat has a suggestion, I'm willing to go with your advice. Yeah, this might be pretty good. What do you just create your own custom icon sets? Ooh, that's nice. It's strange to put it in Wagtail folder. Here's something. Wagtail font, awesome. 4.7. Well, we're not using the font awesome 5 in that case. Yeah, I think Font Awesome 5, they kind of split it and went pretty heavy emphasis on the commercial offering, so I can kind of see why they're sticking with 4 for the while, and I wouldn't particularly mind if somebody actually just forks the project to keep it clean and simple. But it does, every time you visit the Font Awesome site or search on Google, you hit the Font Awesome 5 docs. But I think if I put these Font Awesome icons there, it'll give us a little bit better options for this menu item. Alright, so let's go ahead and add that. See how easy this is to work with. So for genre, I just want this Icon Moon's a nice one too. If I can create my own web font, but in the meantime, I just want to get something going quick. So I think it's just Font Awesome Book, FA Book. For genre. It didn't work. There it is. Alright, just had to maybe jiggle the hand a little bit, reboot, rerun the server. Alright, so now we got some good options for the icons, and I can use these in other places in the app. This is cool. Okay, so not so limited by the wagtail options. Let's take a little bit more time. Select 3 more, so we got a medium. There might be one for like insert media or something. Paperclip might work. Come back to it. This will be good for a topic. Oh, they have facets, yes. Trying to think if there's something for media. That's not so centric, like single media centric. Sorry if this is a little bit of a boring part, but just reading through these. Is there something that combines music and video or pictures with multiple media? Print my work. That might work. Alright. Well, we'll look through most all of these. So we got that one. Let's just take a look if I save it, how things look now. Refresh. Facets. Ah, yeah, I need one for the time period. It's pretty good. Yep, so now we can check each of these. Okay, yeah, and I'm just going to clean up my code a little bit. Genre. Medium. Mediums, yeah. Well, looks good. Let's go ahead and save all these. Commit, push. What are we at? Just over 1 hour. Might be alright just to kind of call it good. Install. So that closed 103. 102. Okay, looking good. I'll spend a little bit of time while we're here to save some time later, since I've got a little bit of content scaffolded and creating fixtures. So yeah, under the community page we have some more substructure, a community directory. We have some basically folders to hold various contact types on and community resources. Wasn't there an introduction? No, I don't have that there. Okay. A little bit of inconsistency. now. The fixtures will change over time. Alright, so we've got everything under communities added. Under organizations. Let me think how deep I want to go here. Well, I've got specific people. So yeah, I should add a couple of organizations. What's in here? Introduction text. Alright, well, whatever. Been Lomond in there. There's quite a number of them. So let's do the same then for online worship. Or let me do this in a sort of more. Let's see, so we'll start tearing it out. That's where we are in meetings. So these yearly meetings are at the top of the tree, so to speak, or at least they're the largest gatherings in the Western United States is divided into 3 yearly meetings. And it also extends into Mexico, as you just saw, Hawaii, and there are friends who go to these yearly meetings from around the world. In fact, I'm going to be attending from Finland. I'm pretty excited about that. We'll be going to Pacific Yearly Meeting. This is what I was mentioning earlier in the stream, how Wagtail basically gives you this sort of really nice administrative user interface, user experience, where you've got like faceted filtering. I've only got yearly meeting types here, so if I click monthly, nothing's going to show up, but when I get a little bit more content in there, it'll be meaningful, or you can search by title. It's got pagination, so it's really smooth. And it's meant for the content creator. So, where are we at? Whoops. Let me edit this one real quick. Get the description from here. They're slightly different texts, because the listing page is different from the meeting description. So, let's go back to the community page. Where are we at? Now we'll fill this in a little bit by adding, delete that. Well, actually, Actually, I needed that, dang it. Community directory. We'll add a card row here. So these are coming from the community meetings, Intermountain Yearly Meeting. And the text comes from this page. Publish that. So now if you view that live, you can see that we're starting to basically reassemble this page. I'm not going to include these. Maybe I will include these in the scaffold, but I don't think the media is going to get included in the fixtures for some reason. I may be mistaken there, but I don't think it will. So we'll now add another card row below that. And this will have the nonprofit organizations. It'll have the online worship. And it'll have these are the directories, Quaker directories. I might not have added that. Let me double check. Under community, add child page. Oh, okay. And Mary actually wanted this to be called Friends Everywhere or something like that, so let's just honor that. I think she said Friends Everywhere. No, I actually have an issue for that. Issues. Other Quaker directories, or just Quaker directories. Community page, edit it, add another card to the card row, Quaker directories. The text comes from there. Now if we publish, refresh, we've got 2 card rows. So this is another really cool aspect of Wagtail, and this stream field allows you to create these relatively simple to use, flexible, it's the home page, custom fields. You know, the content editor can fill in the content, and you can have any arbitrary kind of templating number of fields in there. It's really powerful. You can have, you know, calendars, RSS widgets, embeddable media, anything you can think of, basically. Alright, so continue on with this scaffolding. I think I'll stop at the something's not working. The organizations is not showing up. Let me see. Because we have a couple of organizations there, so we might have a bug in the system. One of each. So that works. Online worship. This, we should have some content. Here we go. I'm not sure what happened to my organizations. Let's double check. I'm not sure that I should actually fix the bug in this fixtures pull request, but I can take a brief look. Just one more glance. We do have Quaker organizations. Oh, I remember. Yeah, this one is really inconsistent. If I edit this one, I actually have to add a block. I had added this stream field. Yeah, it's not very obvious. Publish. Now if I view live, there they are. Okay. I added the stream field so it would be customizable. The editor could change the layout and things like that. But in hindsight, this is the only page that has this type of structure. So I'm going to roll that back. I already got an issue for that, but now I need to expand on it a little bit. This is not a good first issue. It's a little bit more tricky. Okay, cool. So more or less we have magazine, library, community. On puzzles. That's kind of not what I want. Cover image is a requirement, so alright, let's try this. So we need to configure the magazine departments. Where did I? Right there. And this is editorials. Couple of tags. No tags. Alright, so now if we view the magazine issue, we've got some articles. This is interesting. I should bring up to Mary that another thing about the stream field is you kind of break your content down into components, so it's in the same direction, the same vein as the JavaScript front-end world, moving towards component-oriented design. And there's also this atomic design, this idea presented by Brad Frost, that you break down your design systems into atoms, molecules, organisms, templates, and pages, which are just like small building blocks that compose into larger things. And I was going to mention to Mary that I wanted to take that approach with the sort of the Western Friend design system, and now it just strikes me that I really should mention that to her, kind of given that the most recent issue of the magazine has her editorial mentions the exact same concept. So these kind of serendipities I think are really meaningful in life. Quakers describe this as being like the spirit moving, sort of like it's the divine inspiration, the inspiration of life kind of moving through our collective in ways that are perceptible. We get small glimpses of this, like the facets of a gemstone when you rotate it, but you can't ever really see, we can't comprehend sort of the mystery of it, even if you're just thinking from a biological evolutionary standpoint. It's quite astounding, the intricacy and complexity of the human body or an ecosystem, things like that. So I guess I'm just saying that we should really be in tune with sort of these serendipities, that a lot of times they're meaningful, or at least can give us guidance in life. And in general, I think that this stream field and the compositional nature of the way we're able to break down our design systems is really powerful and sort of biologically inspired. So let's see, is there a little bit more content we can get into these fixtures, or wrap up the session? So we got magazine. One issue is fine. Puzzles. I don't know if we need any more departments. Got resources. Got several facets. Not really been working with tags right now. I could add just a couple of tags for the heck of it to Mary's editorial. Let me see if they actually did add some tags and they're just not rendering in the Drupal UI. Yeah, actually there are some keywords. Alright, so let's go ahead and add these. And this concept of continuing revelation. Yeah, so I mean, this is really a salient article to what we're doing here. We're dividing our user interface up into these composable elements that have like the Gestalt effect, where the combination is more meaningful than the individual. Like this rectangle takes on more meaning when we add an icon and a word in there. Now they become tags, and these tags become part of a field which has an empty container, and these fields become part of a form. That's composition leading up to a design system. And in general, this idea of continuing revelation is very powerful too, of like that sort of like the nature of the universe, it more or less is continually revealing itself to us. We're learning, whether it's studying the fields of biology and physics or spirituality or the design evolution of a website, that it's not static, it's not something that has occurred and we should always reflect back on some canonical dispensation of truth, but we're actually actively experiencing it. Alright, so if we review this article, so now we got a few of those things. That's working. Alrighty then. I believe we're good to go. Can't add any child pages of that. I've got all the child pages of the community filled in. These are flat, they don't have, in fact the button shouldn't show. If you can't add a child page. Oh, magazine issue. Yeah, you can continue adding magazine issues, of course. And departments, of course. Events. Let's add an event. May 31st. So this is a past event. 1600. That's pretty good. We've got enough. Alright, so let's take a look. Hey Gumbrain, welcome to the chat. Is it hard to code a website with Django? I guess I would have to think of what it would be compared against, but sort of my intuitive answer is that it's not. It's relatively speaking easy. For the reason being that Django has been designed as a full development framework that'll meet most of the common needs of many web apps. So Gumbrain says that, is it hard to code a Django website compared to someone who does front end? And I don't believe it is going to be too much more difficult, particularly if you're comfortable with, HTML and CSS. You don't even need any JavaScript. You can get quite far without any JavaScript. I've only had to add one little sprinkle of JavaScript in this Wagtail project. Although you certainly can do an entire front end with JavaScript, Django front end, using only the, for example, headless Wagtail or Django REST API, Django REST Framework API. But yeah, Django is designed to make it really easy to, as it says, easier to build better web apps more quickly and with less code. I think that's pretty fair statement there. Not only does it do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, giving you high-level abstractions, and it's got a lot of batteries included, a lot of common functionality. It continues to reveal itself in my workflow as I learn about it. I'll have a pattern I'm trying to solve, like getting, I can't think of a succinct way of describing it, but I'm trying to figure out a way to do something, and then Django says, okay, well, I've already got that solved for you because somebody else had that problem, and you can just, it's in the doc, so you can just do it this way. One example was, in Django you define, I'll try to be brief on this, but you define, here is exactly, you define meeting choices, meeting type choices. Actually, I have to clean this up. So you can define these fields, and fields can have choices, so that a person can't just put any arbitrary value, but they actually have to put in a predefined value, and those choices are defined as key value pairs, and they're displayed in the user interface this way as a select menu. In the database, they're stored this way. Meeting type choices. Let's see if this is used. Right here, so I've got a meeting. I'm adding a meeting as a meeting type. Yeah, that's exactly the right one. So I'll show you when I go to community, add a child page, or contacts, add a meeting page. And we'll just say, put it there. I'm not actually going to create it. There's these meeting type choices, and you can see in the user interface, it's showing the human-friendly version of the text. And in the database, it gets stored like this. Now, when I go to display those in the UI, I'm like, well, how do I get, if in the database it gets stored this way, how do I get this text back? And it turned out there was a helper for that. Django, it's a common enough need that you store it in a database and display it to the user in different ways. And it was like one line of code. Once I learned how to do it, Django revealed itself to be very simple and elegant, and by extension intuitive, because you learn the conventions and they start making sense. It's a consistent framework and way of thinking. So yeah, I believe all of that is to say Django is a really great way to develop a website, particularly if you don't have any back-end experience. You'll learn really effective design patterns and kind of build on the experience of a really mature project. It's been around, I think, over 12 years now. Oh yeah, much more. So since 2005, right? It's been around quite a while. So it's not one of these fly-by-night JavaScript frameworks that you might have seen a few of them come and go. And I think the JavaScript ecosystem, in fairness, is settling down now, and we do have some these front-end frameworks that are here to stay and are growing a lot of momentum. And still they're relatively like new. They haven't been around for very long. So on a higher level, I think that speaks to an ethos of stewardship, and I mentioned this in the previous live stream, that it's really good to use projects that are built to stay around and technologies that are designed to stand the test of time within, the realm of possibility, such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, these web standard technologies, or projects like Ruby on Rails or Django that aren't going to go away. They're working hard to preserve backwards compatibility. They're not going to leave you stranded high and dry. I'm building a project with Meteor.js for the last 4 years, and now we're seeing that the Meteor community is kind of evaporating. So we're like, well, we're probably going to have to rewrite this project. And do we invest in another JavaScript framework that's going to disappear? Or do we go with something Django that's been around and has a proven track record? So anyway, kind of going along on this. I think it's a really good choice, though. And if you're comfortable with JavaScript, again, you can just build a REST API with Django and use your JavaScript front end of choice to interface. Alright, so let's take a look at the Django docs now. for how to export these fixtures. Here's another example, migrations in Django. That's something that's kind of a rarity. I can only think of maybe one JavaScript framework, Sales.js, I think, that has built-in migrations. Migrations are non-trivial, and to have a framework that auto-generates them is really powerful. In my work, we create our migrations by hand. We're using a JavaScript library for that. Which one are we using? Objection, I think, something like that. Alright, so now we go to dummy content, or the real content, I guess, and we would just manage by dump data. Alright. Go and bring what kind of projects are you working on, or what do you want to build? Because there's also like the aspect of the right tool for the right job in Django. Maybe not the right tool for every project, but it's pretty flexible, even for real-time things like chat rooms and things. Dump data. See what this looks like. Oh, it just does it right then. Yeah, so I have to catch that. That's JSON. When did we do this last time? Fixtures is JSON. I was adjusting my seat. So now we got a fresh fixtures, humongous, yeah. But I think that's going to make it a lot easier for us to get this project started. Okay. That would be cool to kind of test this real quick. So if I delete the database, migrate to database. Create my super user, because I don't think that's part of the fixtures. I'd have to test that assumption, but I think that's a common password. Load the data, and it works by just pass it in the data file, I guess. Okay, that's a bummer. I see. Because Wagtail it creates the dang default site. to have a unique host name. Maybe I could change that to 127.0.0.1. Let's see here. What do we have? That's fine. Let's go to admin section. Sites. So actually, let me just do this. Delete the database. And I will do create the initial database, create the initial subuser, log in, delete the default site, default page. Give the default site a different host name than localhost. It's gonna have a conflict here. I think this will just be a mandatory step for the developer, unfortunately. I wonder if there's a way to tell them not to create that. Bummer, dude. Python. Manage. Create super user. This is an old discussion. Won't fix. Yeah, I like that Wagtail's focus on helping and if Brainy, you're still in the room, this is an example of Wagtail trying to make it really easy on people to code a website. So yeah, I'm I guess in a little bit of the power user camp right now. So what does that whoops, go back, delete site, delete page. I'll make it part of the instructions. So what? Edit the README. Let's see, let me think how briefly I can describe this. What am I trying to say? People might not read this sequentially. Good grief, I can't think. I believe this will work. Let's try it out. So, no pages, no sites. It's unfortunate. I don't know which fixture is failing. Content types. Content type. I see. Because these migrations are doing that. Damn. Well, I fudged this. There's no way I can trivially fix that. Yeah, I think that I'll have to do this another time. Not today, but try one more time. Bummer. Yeah, I don't want it to dump the wagtail related. Specify apps. This is what I needed to do. Dang it. I should have backed up that database. Idiot. What if I load data? Let me just try that. No, just when you're dumping it. I think these are all created by the migration. sessions, I don't care to preserve. Auth, don't need that. Just kind of scanning this as fast as I can. Probably just page down. Oh, what? Damn. Okay. Let's try that. Permission. I don't think that's going to be in here. No. What did I miss? I had 2,000 lines still. Stop again. I think we're just page revisions for all the initial content. Then just a bunch of pages. Because everything's a page pretty much, so just got a lot of these. Library items. I guess these don't have any page-specific fields, so they're somewhere on the default wagtail model, the titles. But yeah, these are all the custom content. Community. Yeah, I don't know how to get past this error. Let me see what happens when I log into the site, see if there's anything been created. So next time I need to specify those each of the apps. Gosh, that's a bummer. Do we have anything? Nothing. What a waste of time. That was crappy. Well, I got some good stuff accomplished in today's session anyway, so I'm just gonna call it a night. It's 1 a.m. here, almost 1:30. I'll leave this pull request open though. But unfortunately, I won't be able to use these migrations. Or use these fixtures. All right. In fact, I should probably just delete this whole branch because those were not useful anyway. I'll do that. No sense in having that big blob in our repository. Okay, cool. All right, well that's it. I'm gonna wrap up this session. I think this has been a relatively productive session. We were able to add library items on the author pages, added the faceted sidebar menu here. This worked out pretty good. And a few more icons in the project so we could kind of spruce up the navigation menu. Tried and failed to do the fixtures task, but we'll come back to it another time. Alright, thanks for everybody who joined the Twitch stream. Gumbrain, thanks for posting a question about developing with Django, coming from a front-end background. I hope you have success if you're going to make a transition to being what is kind of conventionally called a full-stack developer. It's going to be challenging for sure. I've been doing kind of full-stack stuff for a few years, but I think it's actually par for the course. JavaScript kind of, and maybe things come in circles, but JavaScript's kind of reinventing things that have been the way of doing things for a while. Like web development basically is full stack. You have stuff that happens on the server, stuff that happens in the client, but maybe the complexity of those domains has gotten to the point where you have to specialize in front end or back end. But we're coming full circle. We got full stack frameworks, reinventing the concept of server-side rendering, which, that's just the way you frameworks like Django or Ruby on Rails render pages. So yeah, I think for someone coming from a front-end background, I think you can do, these server-side things if you get a good framework in place to support your development workflow and let you just focus on the features of your app and not too much of the minutia. Alright, cool. Well, we'll continue these tasks. If anyone's interested in contributing to this project, we have a lot of good first issues that have been open. I'm trying to tag those, and they are genuinely things that can oftentimes be solved in a few lines of code, as you saw today. I picked a couple of them, and we had 3 files touched, 83 lines of code, but that was more declarative code. Here's 13 lines of code, 2 files changed, really just adding a loop and this was actually just lint. So yeah, when I label it as good first issue, I mean that I try to help new developers get started quickly. If anyone's interested in learning sort of Django full stack development, I'm also available to help you with your project. So let me know in the comments of this video if you got something you'd like me to review on GitHub or GitLab. I'll be glad to check out what you're working on. Okay, well, thanks for everyone again in Twitch, and if you're viewing us on YouTube, feel free to leave me a comment or any questions down below the video. This has been another episode of the Building a Website with Python, Django, and WagJail CMS from scratch. We'll hope to see you around in the chat. Have a great day.